So let's get more now on the new allegations against Mohammed Al-Fayed and his brother Salah. Rachel Lowe claims both men assaulted her and trafficked her to Monaco while she was an employee at Harrods. More than 100 people have contacted police with allegations that Mohammed Al-Fayed sexually abused them, and nearly 300 have applied to Harrods' compensation scheme. So let's talk a little bit more about the legal cases. Senior Solicitor Timur Rustem joins me now. Very good morning to you. Thanks so much for talking to us. So hundreds of women like Rachel have come forward to make allegations against the late Mohammed Al-Fayed and more recently his brother Salah as well. With both those Al-Fayed brothers dead, what could the law potentially do to help them?
Good morning. It's quite a large case and it's got many different facets. One aspect of it is the claims against Harrods and other organisations where these offences may have occurred. There's already claims brought by two different groups against Harrods. There's an internal compensation scheme already. There is another aspect of people who may still be alive who facilitated or enabled these offences to occur. And I believe there's 5 investigations underway for that. I think more concerning for lawyers is the role of the police, the investigations that occurred over the course of decades, in fact. I think 3 different investigations. There is, at the moment, the police have referred themselves to the Independent Police Complaints Commission, but separately to that, also the Professional Standards Directorate, which is looking into the conduct of particular officers who may have received gifts or cash, luxury hampers, that sort of thing. So there is a bit of soul searching amongst, I think, the police as well as to how these allegations were investigated, why he was never charged. We're talking about over 111 allegations that have been brought forward. So this is going to be a story that runs. I think it's going to have many different aspects. And I think that this is really a story that's only just started.
Well, yes, and as you say, the Met Police themselves being investigated by the police watchdog over its handling of those allegations in the past. And it's interesting you talk about potential cases against Harrods, but Harrods was sold by Al-Fayed. Is it still possible then to make legal claims when it has a completely different owner?
It is. Any organisation has a responsibility of duty and care towards its staff, employees. These offences, I think the common feature is they seem to have occurred principally Harrods, but the Ritz in Paris, Fulham Football Club. So there's a question about the role of those organisations. Were they aware of what was going on? How did they handle any complaints that may have arisen from staff? So whether it's been sold, it's now part of the Qatar Holdings Group. Nevertheless, the organisation has a responsibility. And I'm sure that these claims will begin to grow in terms of number. There's a separate claim as well against the Al-Fayed estate, which is considerable. To give you an example, I think he sold Harrods for about 1.5 billion to the Qatar Holdings Group. So there's a considerable estate, as well as these organisations, which will have to look at how they handled these allegations. And they have a responsibility, as I said.
Well, yes, and Harrods himself has said that it supports the bravery of women who have come forward to make complaints. They say they're encouraging survivors to make their claims to the Harrods scheme, where they can apply for compensation, as you mentioned. And they say that they're encouraging them to pursue every avenue that might bring them justice. Will a compensation scheme help protect them from any kind of civil or legal claims against them?
It won't. I mean, it will be taken into account. I think the difficulty is for victims to come forward to then have to liaise with or talk to Harrods, the scene of where perhaps these things may have happened. It's not ideal, and many may wish to avoid that and go through lawyers in a separate claim. So there's going to be continued police investigation into people who may have helped facilitate these offences. Separately, there'll be a police investigation into their own handling over 3 different investigations. And separately to that, there will be claims against both the Al-Fayed estate as well as against, I think, Harrods separately. and that will run alongside the voluntary compensation scheme that Harrods have set up very properly, I think. But I'm not sure that's going to stop the main claims coming against them.
Yeah, so as you say, it's something that we're going to be hearing about for some time in the future on lots of different from lots of different angles. Timur Rustem, really interesting to talk to you this morning. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.